Are you feeling charged up for your physics exam? Well, in the next few minutes, we are going to completely demystify the electricity chapter. We're going to break down all the essential formulas and concepts that you absolutely need to know to ace this topic. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the fundamental formulas, then we'll unlock the power of Ohm's law. After that, we're going to settle the score between series and parallel circuits, feel the heat with Joule's law, and then finally, put all your knowledge to the test with an exam-style challenge. So let's jump right in. First up, let's build our foundation. We're starting with two essential formulas that are really the backbone of everything else in this chapter. If you can master these, trust me, you are already way ahead of the game. So what exactly is electric current? Well, to put it simply, it's just a measure of how much electric charge is flowing past a point in a circuit in a certain amount of time. The best way to think of it is like the flow rate of water in a pipe. And here is how we actually measure it. The formula is beautifully simple. Current, which we call I, equals the amount of charge Q that passes a point divided by the time t it takes to do it. So you can see more charge in less time means a stronger current. Simple as that. Now, this is super important. Getting your units right is absolutely critical. Current is measured in amperes, or A. Charge is in coulombs, C. And for this formula to work, time must always be in seconds. That's a really common exam trap, so watch out for questions that give you minutes or hours. Okay, so we have charge flowing, but what actually pushes it to create a current? Well, that's where potential difference comes in, also known as voltage. It's the electric pressure that a battery or a cell provides to get everything moving. And the formula for it reflects this idea perfectly. Potential difference, V, is just the work done, W, divided by the amount of charge, Q. You can think of it as how much energy is required to push each little unit of charge through the entire circuit. So let's lock in these units. Potential difference is in volts. The work or energy used is in joules. And of course, the charge is in coulombs. So if you think about it, 1 volt is really just 1 joule of energy being used for every single coulomb of charge. Okay, so we have voltage, which is the push, and we have current, which is the flow. But how are these two things connected? That's where the single most important relationship in all of basic electricity comes in: Ohm's law. Now, this is the formal statement of the law. What it's really saying is that there's a predictable, direct link between the push, the voltage, and the flow, the current. It means if you double the push, you're going to double the flow, as long as other conditions like temperature don't change. And here it is, the equation that puts it all together. V equals I times R. This simple formula is your key to solving the majority of circuit problems. Voltage equals current times resistance. It's powerful, elegant, and absolutely essential. This brings us to that R in the equation, resistance. What is it? Well, it's the property of a material that fights back, that opposes the flow of current. You can think of it as a kind of electrical friction. The higher the resistance, the harder it is for that current to pass through. And we measure it in ohms, using the Greek letter omega. All right, let's tackle a topic that often trips students up: how to calculate the total resistance when components are connected in different ways. We're going to make this crystal clear right now. This slide right here is your ultimate guide. Let's break it down. On the left, we've got series circuits. Think of this as a single-lane road. The current only has one path to follow, so it's the same everywhere. The total resistance? Easy. You just add them up. On the right, we've got parallel circuits. Think of this like a highway with multiple lanes. The current splits between the different paths, but the voltage across each path stays the same. To find the total resistance, you have to add the reciprocals. And here's a key tip you have to remember. The total resistance in a parallel circuit is always smaller than your smallest individual resistor. Okay, time for a quick challenge. You have 3 resistors connected in parallel, 2, 3, and 6 ohms. Go ahead and pause the explainer here and try to calculate the equivalent resistance. Remember that formula for parallel circuits? You got it? The correct answer is 1 ohm. Now let's look at a really important effect of electricity. You see, whenever current flows through something that has resistance, it generates heat. And this isn't just some random side effect, it's a principle we use all the time. This whole phenomenon is described by something called Joule's law of heating. It precisely explains why your phone charger gets a little warm, or how an electric stove can cook your food. It's all about the energy that gets dissipated as current pushes its way through resistance. Joule's law actually breaks down into 3 pretty simple relationships. The heat produced is proportional to the resistance and to the time the current flows. But the most important factor here is the current itself. Notice that heat is proportional to the square of the current. This is a huge deal. It means if you double the current, you don't just get double the heat. No, you get 4 times the heat. And here is how we put all 3 of those rules together into one incredibly powerful formula. H equals I²RT. The heat produced is simply the product of the current squared, the resistance, and the time. And you see this principle literally everywhere. Any device that's designed to get hot on purpose, like an electric heater, an iron, a toaster, is a direct application of Joule's law. They all use a high-resistance element to generate a whole lot of heat very quickly. But, perhaps the most clever application of this is the electric fuse. It's a critical safety device with a special wire inside that's designed to have a very low melting point. So if the current in your house gets dangerously high, that little wire heats up, melts, and breaks the circuit, protecting all of your expensive appliances from being damaged. Okay, we have covered all the core theory. So let's wrap this up by putting it all together with a higher-order thinking skills question. The exact kind you might see on your board exam. Here is your final challenge, and it's a classic board exam question. You've got 2 bulbs with different power ratings. First, I want you to calculate which one has the higher resistance. Then, I want you to predict which one will glow brighter when they're connected in series. Here's a hint. Think about what stays constant in a series circuit and which formula for power you should probably use. Pause here, really work it out. This is exactly the kind of problem that'll set you apart from everyone else. Good luck.